Hello students, how are you all? I hope you are happy and healthy and studying also. As you all know, we have started a new concept of grammar, that is voice. And we have studied yesterday and introduction have been given to you already. And today we are going to start how to make active to passive voice in present tense. So, before starting the topic of today, we are going to revise what we have studied yesterday. So, let's start the revision what we have studied yesterday. First of all, we should revise what is voice. Voice is that form of the verb which indicates whether the subject is the doer of the action or something is being done to it. So, in voice you can find these are the topics, and the voices are divided into two types or two parts, that is active and passive voice. Active voice is that when the subject of sentence does an action, we say that the sentence is in the active voice. And what is passive voice? When the subject is not the doer of an action but something is done to it, the sentence is said to be in the passive voice. So, in passive voice, there are few requirements in passive voice, that there must be subject and the verb and the object must be there, because without any object it is quite impossible to make active to passive voice. But sometimes it will be done, because whenever we are using imperative sentences and these type of the sentences can be done in the active to passive voice also without any object. So let's start how to make active to passive voice in present tense. First of all, I would like to remind you that the formation of active to passive voice is, you can see on the screen, active into passive voice, the teacher asked a question was asked by the teacher. The object of the active voice sentence becomes the subject of the passive voice sentence. So that you always keep in your mind. The verb consists of the past simple form of the verb to be was, the past participle of the verb in the active voice sentence. So this is the topic of past tense, but I would like to only show the how to form active to passive voice in a different type of the tenses. So I am going to start giving you a chapter. Now, first of all, we should know the rules of making active to passive voice in simple present tense. So, rules for simple present tense, active to passive, how do we use? We use first form of the verb in the simple present tense. As you all know, in the active voice there should be a subject and then first form of the verb and the action will be there. Now in passive voice, when we are supposed to use to make active to passive voice, so what we are going to use is and are plus third form of the verb. As I have told you yesterday also, that to make active to passive voice we should always remember there is a zigzag form, and the subject become object and the object becomes subject in the active to passive voice. And second thing, you just always remember that always we should use and we must use third form of the verb, or you can say past participle, whether it is past tense, whether it is future tense or present tense. So whenever we are making active to passive voice, we must always remember that the verb we will write in the past participle or third form of the verb will be used. So In the rules of simple present tense, whenever we are changing in passive voice, so we should always remember is, am, are, linking verb will be there, and then third form of the verb will be used. Now few examples are given in this clip. You can see. Example is girl clicks selfie. Now from making active to passive voice, you can see selfie is clicked by girl. In first example, you can see girl clicks selfie. Clicks is a present tense and the verb is written in present tense because the girl is a singular. That is why the S is used. So girl clicks selfie, and after we just recognize this sentence because it is written in the simple present tense, so we will make in passive voice that selfie is because girl is singular. That is why here we have used is. Selfie is clicked, third form of the verb, click become clicked, and by girl. By, as I told you yesterday, that by the preposition will be used. So selfie is clicked by girl. Now let's see the second example. Girls click selfie. Again you can see subject is plural over here. In first sentence we have seen the subject is singular. Now in second sentence the sentence is same, but here you can see subject is plural. Girl click selfie. So in passive voice you can see selfie is clicked by girls. Okay, now again you can see girls click selfies. Girls click selfies. Selfies. Now here you can see object is plural form. Now selfies are clicked by girls because subject here in the second sentence we have seen selfie is a singular form. The object is the singular form. That is why selfie is clicked by girls. Now here girls click selfies. Now selfies are clicked by girls because selfie is having a plural form. But one thing you should always remember, if it is written that girls click selfie, so whenever we are making active to passive voice, we should always put our stress on the object. So from these examples you can see selfie is clicked by girls, but if selfies is written because the object is plural over here, then we have to use the plural linking verb or helping verb. So selfies are clicked by girls. So whenever we are making these things, we should always remember. Now here you can see this clicks is wrong because girls click. This is correct, but this is wrong. So in this picture you can see girls click selfie, but we have to pay attention who is selfie. Selfie is an object which is singular. That is why is used over here. We are not bothered about the subject because in the passive form we should always remember the object will become subject. So we should always keep in our mind that if the object is a singular, so we should use a singular helping verb. If the object is plural, then we are supposed to use plural linking or helping verb. Just you have seen over here, selfies. Now here, selfies is there, are. Now I am just correcting this because, okay. Now we should see more examples that is already given in your book also. So let's see. Now let's see which is given in your book, simple present tense. She decorates the house during festival. This is the active voice. Now when we are making in passive voice, the house is decorated by her during festivals. Does he wish you on your birthday? This is an interrogative active voice. Now whenever we are making interrogative sentence in simple present tense in passive voice, so always remember is, am, are or linking verb will be used. So are you wished on your birthday by him? It is in the passive voice. Who sings devotional songs? It is again in the interrogative form. Now in passive form, we should write by whom are the devotional songs sung? Who are the devotional songs sung by? So now the who is not going to change over here. But if does is there, we should change it. So the second pattern is much in use these days. Now active to passive voice, whenever we are making active to passive voice in present tense, so root form of the verb sometimes with s or es will be there in the active voice. But in passive voice, we should use always is, am, are. As you can see, is, am, are, past participle, this you always remember, is, am, are will be there, and verbs, participle of the verb. So that you should always keep in your mind. These are the formation of active to passive voice in simple present tense. Now I am giving you few more examples from active to passive voice, how to form. Amit plays football. Now here you can see football is played by Amit. Now here you can see football is become over here in passive voice a subject, because Amit or football is a singular thing, that is why is will be used and played by the Amit. Now again in the second sentence you can see he plays football. Football again is a singular object, then we will use is, and played because third form of the verb will be used, that is why played will be there. By him, as we have studied, in active and to passive voice the personal pronoun will be changed. So he become him. She plays football. Again football is a singular object, then football is played by, because she is there, that is why the personal pronoun has been changed. Now her will be there. They play football in the plural form. Football is because football is a singular object, that is why they play football. Football is played by them. They is here, so it will become them. So always remember, we should change the personal pronoun. Likewise, I become me, we become us, he become him, she become her, and they become them. So this concept always keep in your mind whenever you are making active to passive voice. in active voice, it will remain same. He plays football. But in passive voice, when we are going to change in active to passive voice in any tense, we should always remember that the personal pronoun will be changed like this. So he become him, she become her, and they become them. Now we can see we play football. So football is played by us. Now again we can see we play football. This is simple present tense. Now in passive voice you can see football is played by us. We is there. So now you can see over here us will be used. I play football. So football is played by me. I become me. So whenever we are making active to passive voice, we should always remember three things. First thing, the object. If the object is the singular, then we are going to use singular linking or helping verb. If object in the plural form, we should use a singular linking verb or a singular auxiliary verb. Now, second thing, if it is in the simple present tense, active voice, we should change in the passive voice. Then second thing we always remember, the verb will be written in the third form of the verb. And change in personal pronouns. This you always keep in mind whenever you are making active to passive voice. One thing and the most important thing, that we should always change personal pronoun. He become him, she become her, I become me. So these type of the change will be there. So this table you should always remember. Change in personal pronouns and linking verb or auxiliary verb, as you all know, it will be there. So these are the concept of to change active to passive voice in simple present tense. So now let's start the progressive sentences, or you can say continuous sentences, present continuous sentences, how to change active to passive voice. Now let's talk about how to change active to passive voice in present continuous tense or present progressive tense. So auxiliary verb used in passive voice is being, are being and am being. As you all know, in the present continuous tense we are using is MR with ing. In the active voice, if it is written, she is singing a song. Now here you can see this is a simple, or this is present continuous tense. She is singing a song. Now a song will become a subject over here whenever we are making active to passive voice. A song is being sung. Is being, because song is a singular object. That is why is being sung, she become her. Now we are moving, she is not singing a song. In negative form, if it is written in the negative form in present continuous tense in active voice, so how to change in passive voice? So a song is not being sung by her. A song, because song is here, and in passive voice it will become a subject. A song is not being sung by her. She now change in her. Now in interrogative form, if it is written in present continuous tense, is she singing a song? Now in interrogative form, how to form active to passive voice? Is a song being sung by her? Now here you can see, is helping verb will be there. Is a song being sung by her? Question mark will be there. They are eating apples. Apples are being, because here you can see apples, this is plural form of apples. So apples are. Now here you can see are is it is used over here because apples are plural. That is why it has become subject in passive voice. Apples are being eaten by them. Now again they become them. By always used. Now you are disturbing me. You are disturbing me. Now I become, me become I over here. So I am being disturbed by you. This you always keep in your mind whenever we are changing active to passive voice in present continuous tense. We are supposed to use is being, are being and am being. So always keep in your mind whenever we are changing is being in present continuous tense active to passive voice, if the object is singular, we are going to use is being. If object is plural, we are supposed to use are being. And if the subject is the first person, I, if it is used in the active voice, then we are supposed to use, or if it is used in me over there. So we just transform in first person, I will be used over there. So I am being, am being. Then third form of the verb will be there. So this formula you just learn it by your heart, because this is very important. Whenever you are making active to passive voice, you just remember this, that is being will be used, are being will be used, and am being with the third form of the verb, or you can say past participle. Whenever we are making active to passive voice in present continuous tense. So let's see few more example of making active to passive voice in present continuous tense. Now let's see, are you reading a novel in active voice? So here you can see, is a novel being read by you in passive voice? Active voice is MR will be there, ing form of the verb, are reading is plugging. Now in passive voice, we should change is MR plus being plus past participle form of the verb, are being, am being and is being, and third form of the verb. So these are the rules to making active to passive voice in present continuous tense. Now after learning this, we are going to learn about how to make active to passive voice in present perfect tense. Let's start. Now in this clip you can see present perfect tense auxiliary verb will be there. Verbs, auxiliary verbs used in passive voice has been and have been, and as you all know, third form of the verb will be there. Now active to passive voice, whenever the sentence in present perfect tense, how to make passive voice. So he has completed the verb. Here you can see has will be used, as you all know, in the present perfect tense, has will be there, and third form of the verb. Now we are going to make passive voice of present perfect tense. So now let's start. The rule is that has been and have been will be placed in place of has or have. So he has completed the work. Now the work has been, because work over here is a singular. So that is why has will be used over here in passive form. The work has been completed. He is there. Then here you can see again him will be there because we have to change in the personal pronoun. Now in the second example, he has not completed the work. Here you can see in the negative form. Present perfect tense in the negative form, it is written in the active voice. He has not completed the work. Now here you can see the work has not been completed by him. Again him will be used because this is negative form, that is why has not been completed, has will be there. Now has he completed the work? Again it is written in interrogative form. Now how we are going to make in passive voice this sentence? Has the work been completed by him? Has the work been completed by him? The auxiliary verb will be placed in the first, and that is why we are making interrogative sentences. That is why it is placed at the first. So has the work been completed by him? Now again she has written 5 poems. 5 poems because here you can see that 5 poems plural. Poems it is written over here, that is why we are going to use have. As you all know, has will be used with a singular object or subject. So here because poems is written over here, that is why we are going to use 5 poems have been written by her. She is written over here, so then we can change in her. I have made some cakes. Some cakes have been made by me. Now here you can see some cakes, it will become a subject. Some cakes have been made by me. So that is how we can make active to passive voice in the present perfect tense. First of all, we should always remember when it is written has completed, we will change has been completed. If the object in plural, so we will change in have been. Works have been completed. So that is how we can make active to passive voice in present perfect tense. Now few examples we can see. He has written many novels in the past. It is written in the active voice. How can we change in the passive voice? Many novels have been written by him in the past. Who has broken the glass? In active voice. By whom has the glass been broken? Now in active voice, as you all know, has and have will be there, plus past participle will be used, form of the verb. And to make active to passive voice, we should use has, have plus been. That you always keep in your mind. Has and have will be used, then been will be there, and third form of the verb will be used. So to make active to passive voice, then we will use has, have, been and past participle. Has, have, been plus past participle. that we are already using in the present perfect tense. So there is very slightly change whenever we are making active to passive voice in present perfect tense. What we should do? We should always remember one thing, that is when we are making active to passive voice, the zigzag form will be there. Subject will become object in the passive voice and the object in the active voice becomes subject in the passive voice. First thing. Second thing, in the present perfect tense, has and have will be used. With this, when we are making active to passive voice in the present perfect tense, that has and have will be there but with the been. Been, has and have been, and then past participle as we are using in the active voice also. Past participle will be there and then we will make very simply, very clearly active to passive voice. There is no any confusion. So what we have learned today? To make simple present tense, active to passive voice in simple present tense, what we are going to use? We use only is an are, an am, and then third form of the verb. So that is the rule of simple present tense in making active to passive voice. Now we are moving to progressive sentence or present continuous tense, how we are going to use or how we are going to make active to passive voice. Now in present continuous tense, that you always remember whenever we are going to make active to passive voice, one thing always keep in your mind, am being, are being and is being will be used with the third form of the verb. If the sentence is written, she is singing a song, then it will become a song is being sung by her. Third form of the verb will be there. Now, as we have studied about how to make present perfect tense in active in passive voice, how to change. So we just always remember has and have been plus third form of the verb will be used. Now I think it is clear to you how to make active to passive voice in present tense. Tomorrow we will study about how to make active to passive voice in past tense. So till then, bye bye and take care and revise this chapter because this is very important chapter for you and you can able to understand by watching this video. How to make active to passive voice in simple present tense, how to make active to passive voice in present continuous tense and how to make simple or you can say active to passive voice in present perfect tense. So these three concepts, just clear your mind. Tomorrow we will solve exercise which are already given in your book. So we will solve on the basis of present tense. Then we will start past tense. So till then, bye bye and take care.